I think the Sonic team has greatly overcorrected something. Hello everyone, I'm OCDsaster, and this is OCDsaster Blue, my Sonic exclusive channel where everything we talk about is Sonic related. So if that sounds like something your speed, consider subscribing to the channel and checking out some other videos after this. We have tons of content for you to look at that's not just Crossworlds related. We have Sonic Frontiers, we have deep dives into other games, we have walkthroughs, playthroughs, guides, all of that here on the channel. You just have to check out the channel page. With that being said, I know I literally just said this channel is all about Sonic the Hedgehog. Well, technically that's not true, because today we are talking about Shadow the Hedgehog. That's right, the cooler, edgier version of Sonic who has become more and more in the good graces of Sega and Sonic Team, to a point where I think it's actually going to be problematic, and I want your guys' take on this as well. You see, the year of Shadow just ended, with Sonic Generations being re-released with a Shadow Generations component to it, where you had a whole new experience playing as Shadow the Hedgehog. And with that, they launched tons of other Shadow-like content throughout the year as a marketing ploy to get people to buy the game. And by ploy, that sounds bad or malicious, but it wasn't, because Shadow Generations is one of my favorite Sonic games, even though you can't really consider it that because it's not fully a game, but there's enough content in there that makes me happy. I got tons of walkthroughs, let's plays, discussions about that if you want to check that out after this video. What I wanted to talk about is, ever since the success of Shadow Generations and the Year of Shadow, people, and by people I mean Sega and Sonic Team, have really been pushing Shadow to the forefront of the branding when it comes to Sonic. And in one side of the coin, that's great, but on the other side, it could cause some problems in the future. So why are they doing this? One, they finally woke up and realized that Shadow is a really cool character. From design to energy, he is one of the most popular Sonic characters next to Sonic himself. And he's been in the dark, quite literally, for a long time. They didn't really give him enough in the more modern era of Sonic games and Sonic content, and now they're starting to turn around on that because they're seeing the dollar signs and the profitability of it. So when you see marketing and, collaborations for Sonic the Hedgehog, you're now seeing Shadow be thrown in with the iconic group of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Sometimes it's Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, but now it's more Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Shadow. And I wanted to talk about that real quick because, one, it doesn't really look great together with the four, because, sure, they've worked together before in the past, but you have this really dark color with these very bright colors, but also it just kind of makes the balancing of the team just kind of broken. And I also noticed this not just with the marketing, but also with the animation that I just did a video on. The Sonic Racing Crossworlds animation isn't really about Sonic at all. You're following Shadow because he's so cool, but Sonic's only in it at the very end and he gets beaten by Shadow. So that's also very interesting to think about. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Shadow is a really cool character and one of my favorite Sonic characters of all time, and I think he's well deserved of a spotlight. But the way they're doing it just doesn't seem to tonally match with the rest of the content, whether it's a collaboration or marketing. Sonic Racing Crossworlds, not terrible. The teaser was Shadow, and then we've gotten tons of other content marketing that game, and then just this animation also features Shadow. But I do think we're still technically in the Year of Shadow, even though Shadow Generations already came out. I think that's till literally the end of the year. So it does make sense that they're still kind of keeping him in the foreground. I just hope they tone it back once we move into the new year, because of something very, very important. And that something very, very important is Sonic Movie 4. They gotta ramp up promotion for that, and they gotta really start giving some other Sonic characters some spotlight. And I think it would be perfect to give Amy the appropriate spotlight that she deserves, because although she's not one of my favorite Sonic characters, I think she is underdeveloped most of the time as far as a character, and she just doesn't get enough in the limelight. She's usually that lingering fourth person in what used to be Sonic Heroes trio. Shadow just got his movie, he just got his game, he's been in tons of promotional material. I think it's time to slowly sunset him, let Sonic have the spotlight to the end of the year, and then ramping up next year, we really start promoting Amy Rose a little bit more in anticipation for Sonic Movie 4, because she's going to be kind of like the newest Sonic character in there, along with Metal Sonic. I wouldn't be mad with a Metal Sonic Year the Metal Sonic. That would be kind of cool, but I think he's a little bit too niche. Not everyone is a huge Metal Sonic fan, and I could see why some people wouldn't necessarily want that. But I really do want to see some more spotlight with Amy Rose, because the most we've really gotten with her is in like the Sonic Prime and Sonic Boom TV shows. They developed her a little bit more, but I really want them to focus more so on the Amy Rose from Sonic Frontiers. Listen, as I'm playing Sonic Frontiers more and more, I'm starting not to really like the gameplay as much, especially when we have something like Shadow Generations that's just more smooth and crisp. But when I look back at the story and the narrative, I do like where they were trying to go with a little bit of a more grounded and somber tone. And it's all about Sonic and his friends going off on their own adventures and their own journeys, and I really hope they pay that off. I would like to see some more development with these characters before Sonic Frontiers 2, or whatever the successor to Sonic Frontiers is going to be, the next AAA Sonic game, which we can talk about in a later video. And I think Amy Rose has enough gameplay and mechanics to give her a game. Now, you might have to attach it to something else for people to really purchase it, right? Like they did with Shadow Generations. They also released Sonic Generations with that. So with the next remake, remaster maybe, whether it's Sonic Adventure, which would be also appropriate because Amy Rose kind of really got a more forward motion in that game, a more of a story, then we could also get an attachment of a new Amy Rose game that plays more to her style with the hammer and more combat mixed with, you know, the boost formula. I think this would be really cool, and I know I started off talking about Shadow and I moved into Amy, but let me just kind of close the loop on where I'm getting at here. Shadow is very cool. He's very amazing. The Year of the Shadow, I think, was one of the most biggest successes Sega and Sonic Team have done for the Sonic franchise in a while, pushing out Shadow Generations, which now that I say that, that game came out in what, like October last year? So it would make sense that we're rounding out the year with October again. And Shadow has been promoted to the spotlight when promoting, you know, Sonic brands and Sonic crossovers and collabs and stuff like that. You see him with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. And although I love that Shadow's getting that attention he desperately needs because he was put to the side for a while, I just think that design-wise he kind of clashes with the other three, and tonally he's too dark and edgy to really be associated with them. Shadow wouldn't really hang out with Sonic and them. He would tolerate them for a little bit, but he wouldn't hang out with them. We got a movie with him, we got a game with him. He's had his fun and his limelight. I want Sonic to start taking the spotlight again for a little bit. People remember he is the main character. I know everyone knows that, right? But like, it would be good to have some more focus on Sonic again. I would even argue, like I said, with Sonic Frontiers, that Sonic, even though you're playing as Sonic throughout the whole game, he's really interacting with the characters, and it's the other characters' stories and narratives that really fuel Sonic to move forward, which is absolutely fine, but we don't really get much of Sonic and Sonic's story in Sonic Frontiers. And moving from there, I would like to see the Year of Amy Rose in promotion for Sonic Movie 4. I want to see more of her in the limelight. She has been paired with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles before in promotion. I think that's fine. She matches a little bit more with them than Shadow does tonally, and I just really hope they flesh out her character and really get maybe a side game attached to a remaster or a remake of a past Sonic title to hold us over till the next AAA Sonic game and till Sonic Movie 4 comes out. But I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think Shadow is getting too much love now, or is he getting the right amount? Do you think he needs more love? Do you think that they're not promoting him enough in the marketing for Sonic? I'm very curious on your thoughts and opinions on this. I am just giving my own 2 cents, and I hope you have a super Sonic rest of your day. See ya.